This morning, we take a look at equity in education. As the achievement gap continues to persist, we turn to Florida, where Governor DeSantis is making some decisions, Ben, that are not necessarily helping children of color. And this is significant because that achievement gap has been something that has existed in this country, I want to say for decades, if not since its inception. And so while we would hope our politicians, our community leaders are advocating for different measures, resources to be deployed that would help eliminate that achievement gap, it feels as though, specifically in Florida, they're doing quite the opposite.
Absolutely. Good morning, Georgia. Ron DeSantis is, I don't quite have the name or the word to describe him. He is simultaneously buffoonish, but very, very calculated in how he approaches his position as governor of the state of Florida. In this next clip, you're going to see him express that it is an issue of liberal educators who are teaching kids to hate this country. And the context is within the critical race theory discussion that we've been talking about for some time now. And that's been the number one thing that Republicans want us to be afraid of. And that's basically learning about what this country did to Black people in this country. That said, let's take a listen into Ron DeSantis as he explains how any random parent will be able to inspect curriculum and sue these schools who are already strapped for resources. Take a listen in.
My political agenda is they want these kids to hate this country. They want them to reject our founding, our institutions, and they want to replace that with their leftist ideology, which would obviously be disastrous for this country's future. So the stakes are very high on that. But there's a problem when you can say it, you can't do it. But what if they defy you? What if they're doing it? And so what we're going to be doing in this upcoming legislative session, we're going to give parents the ability to go in and get legal relief if they're not following our state standards with respect to history and government. And I think empowering parents to be involved, making sure parents have a right to inspect the curriculum. And it's not just about critical race theory. I mean, there's a lot of other inappropriate content that can be smuggled in by public schools. And in some parts of the country have it way worse than Florida in that regard. So parents, this idea of parents don't have a right to be involved.
And that's what he's trying to call forth an army of parents to go after teachers who, and honestly, Georgia, at the end of the day, it really can boil down to something as simple as a parent not liking a teacher and then instituting one of these lawsuits. So as you stated at the beginning, Ron DeSantis is really striking at the heart of what's in the best interest for our children.
You know, think about this, Ben. What was the name of your favorite teacher when you went to school?
The first one that comes to mind is Miss Hobbs.
Miss Hobbs. Imagine
second grade.
Imagine Miss Hobbs being taken to court, being sued by Karen herself, simply because Miss Hobbs is good with the Black kids. Imagine that, because to me, I mean, when you take away the veil, when you really look at what is behind this, Governor DeSantis he's guising this bill saying, oh, liberal educators can be punished. Liberal educators can be sued. They're teaching our children how to hate our country. You're opening up the door for a class of people, educators who are already overworked and underpaid, right? And now you're saying that lawsuits can be brought forth against them. Are the schools going to provide insurance? Are the schools going to provide legal aid? Because think about Miss Hobbs. Did she really earn enough money to be able to legally defend herself?
That's right. Because
she was the student that was providing the extra attention or care or compassion to students. And specifically, it sounds like students of color. But now teachers like her, teachers like Mr. O'Neill, the teacher who taught me how to balance a checkbook, even though that wasn't a part of the curriculum. Oh, no. He's going off of the approved curriculum, teaching kids things other than what's on the curriculum. Let's sue him.
That's right.
Now that's what's going to happen. That we're going to see a whole new wave of Karens who are going to feel empowered that they can come after educators, whether it's because they don't agree with what they're teaching in the class, whether it's because they don't like them, simply as you pointed out earlier.
That's right. That's right. And the answer is no. I mean, I taught for quite a few years before this, and I stopped teaching because the pay was not commensurate with the amount of labor. It was a mathematical calculation for me. The amount of hours that we had to spend as teachers beyond the 9 to 5 or whatever our shift was for our grade. Teachers don't make enough money to handle lawsuits. They barely make enough money to do what they're currently doing and keep their lights on. And that's exactly what Ron DeSantis is counting on here. He's counting on teachers being so intimidated. It's called the chilling effect. He wants the chilling effect to be so intimidating that teachers would never think about teaching something other than Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492.
Well, and really, what is this response to? This is a response to the controversy surrounding CRT. And this is a response not to the needs of the children and the students or the parents. This is a response to uphold white supremacy.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And what they're going to be able to do is to tie this bigotry to whatever other ignorant thing they need to accomplish, right? They're going to tie this attack against critical race theory to attacking mask mandates. The same people who show up at the school board meetings and yelling into the microphone about mask mandates and about the vaccine not happening or coming to the schools, those are the same people who are going to show up to the classrooms and to sue these parents, because they're all the same group of people who don't listen to reason and logic, but they instead listen to this oath and listen to the bigotry that's necessary to protect, like you said, white supremacy in this country.
You know, but we shouldn't be surprised. DeSantis is the same governor who was selling merchandise on his website mocking the pandemic. DeSantis has also had a number of other bills that he has pushed forward that have not resulted in equitable outcomes for communities of color. So we shouldn't be surprised. But, you know, what we should take note of is the caucasity that he has to attack our educators and to try to coin some of them as liberal and to now take this divide that we've seen across our nation to take this divide even further and deeper into our school systems. What we need to be worried about is deploying resources so that our children are getting adequate education. What we need to be worried about in our school systems is making sure that we are combating the achievement gap. That's what we should be looking at. We should be looking at the graduation rate, if anything, and asking ourselves, how can we ensure that our children are making it across the finish line and being teed up to go on to further their education in college? I mean, if we have the resources to sit here and come up with legislation to allow our educators to be sued, then damn it, I think we should have some resources to start putting towards tuition for that first year of college.